rock out. You ready?
Ready.
On today's Farm for Fun show, we have a very inspirational guest. She is an international keynote speaker, published writer and columnist, content creator. Her mission is to give science a bigger voice in the food and farm space. She has worked with companies like Burger King, Forbes, the Dr. Drew Podcast, Business Insider, Vice, and more. From Florida, Mrs. Michelle Miller, a.k.a. Farm Babe. What is up, Michelle?
Hey, wow. It's like very Van Halen of you for an intro. I appreciate it.
I should have had my wig on.
We should have.
Might as well jump.
Yes.
And you are not in Florida right now. You are in Montana.
I am in Montana, a very snowy Montana.
Is it really?
Yeah, I did get Doug Yeager's snap that it was snowy there.
Yes.
It has been, it's been very cold up here, but that's okay. It's a nice little change.
So give us a little bit about you. I gave a little flyover, basically read right off your profile, but who are you? What do you do?
Yeah, thanks, man. I'm the Farm Babe on social media. I work to bridge the gap between consumers and farmers and help people learn where their food comes from. So I travel a lot as a social media influencer and a keynote speaker and writer, and I work to just connect with all sorts of different people in agriculture and give them a bigger voice online, give science a bigger voice, and just overall celebrate agriculture.
Wow.
So you are an advocate.
You are.
An advocate. Yeah. Hashtag
advocate. Well, that's awesome. We need people like you. I mean, I guess someone. I don't know. I don't consider myself one, but I guess we are in ag media, so maybe we are.
Right. Everybody's got.
Whether
some.
you like it or not.
Yeah.
Hashtag advocate.
Yes. Absolutely. Is it fun? Is it fun to do that?
I love it. Oh my God, I love it. I travel a lot, and people ask me that all the time. Does it ever get old to travel all the time? And I was like, not really, man. Like, I love it. And I don't have kids or anything, which helps, right? Like, I don't have like a family to go home to or whatnot, which makes it a little easier to be on the road all the time.
Right.
But learning about different commodities and different people and industry groups, like all across the country and sometimes international. And so it keeps me on my toes, and every day is something new and fun to learn about, you know?
Yeah, so on her website, it says that she's been to all 7 continents and 67 different countries?
Yep, that would be correct.
7 continents. So what were you doing in Antarctica?
Antarctica was cool. We took an ice ship basically down from Ushuaia, Argentina, and you cross the Drake Passage to get down to Antarctica. So we stopped at this research station on mainland, and we stopped at the world's most southernmost yacht club. And we went to an island that had about 7,000 penguins on it. And so it takes 2 days to get to Antarctica from Argentina. And so it's not like a cruise, it's like an ice ship, right? Because you have to go through these boulders and, crazy ice capades, if you will. Yep. But yeah, we got to there was a lot of scientists that were speaking and teaching us all about nature and research in Antarctica, and we met this guy that scuba dives in Antarctica with this crazy thick suit, and saw humpback whales and all sorts of crazy stuff. It was one of the coolest things I've ever done, for sure.
The most southern yacht club.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to a yacht club, Corey?
No.
So you can't even.
You've never been to a yacht club?
You can't even say you've been to one.
No.
And she's been to the most southern one.
Wow.
So what happens at a yacht club for people like Corey?
I drink a lot of beer.
It's a bar.
So it's like what we do. It's just we're on land.
There was a bunch of, the night we were there was a bunch of Chilean military there. So I got to drink some beer with a bunch of Chilean dudes and practice my Spanish. So I speak a little bit of Spanish. I'm not fluent, but enough to get me around, So that was kind of fun.
Wow.
So let's back up. How does one even get interested or started in something like this?
So after college, I went to college in Los Angeles, actually. And after that, I worked in fashion for a little bit. And my story of getting into agriculture is kind of a long and interesting one. But after college, I worked in fashion, and I really wasn't making a lot of money. And I was in LA, and I just was kind of fed up with the LA lifestyle. And I actually ended up moving to China, and I taught English. So when I moved from, and I grew up in Wisconsin, right? So you come from Oshkosh, Wisconsin, I was in 4-H and like kind of a farm kid growing up a little bit. But then like you move to the big city and then you're like, what else is out there? And then I moved to China and I was like, what else is out there? And so I just made a goal to visit all 7 continents by the time I was 30. And it was just something I was just really interested in. So yeah, China, I lived there for a little bit. And then I was like, I want to backpack through Europe. And so I did that 3 times. And then I backpacked through Southeast Asia and South America and Central America. And yeah, I'm just like, kind of obsessed with travel, I guess.
Oshkosh to China by way of Los Angeles.
Yeah, that would be correct.
And then everywhere else. Like, literally the world is her oyster.
I'm just trying to think of you, like, in high school. Were you interested in agriculture in high school? Like, or were you like, no, I'm getting the heck out of here and going to fashion?
It was both, yeah. So I was interested in agriculture because my friends, I didn't come from a farming background. Like nobody in my family were farmers, but my friends were farm kids. And so like we would ride horses every day and do chores. And so I always really loved the farm life. And then, like when you're in high school and you talk to your guidance counselors and your teachers and you take those tests and they try to help you like what you should major in and what you should go to college for, everybody was like, you need to work in ag. Like they're like, you should be a veterinarian, you should work with animals. And I loved that. But I just wanted to see what else was out there, So yeah, I did LA and fashion and China, and then moved to Chicago and kind of been all over the place. So,
I mean, because I knew several girls like in my class or the neighboring school that was like, I'm going to California to do interior design or fashion or whatever
New York City, right?
And
totally.
And they all went out there. And now they're all kind of working their way back, like it's at Denver, and now it's like Omaha or Kansas City or Chicago. It's like they're coming back. It's kind of funny.
Oh yeah, especially when you get older, right?
Yep.
Like I'm 40, so it's like when you're 20 and you're like, yeah, like what else is out there? But then there's no place like home, right? Like It's even though I'm nowhere near my hometown. I guess now in Florida from Wisconsin, but yeah, I mean, it is nice to be back. I still lived on the farm in Iowa. I lived in the Midwest for over 30 years. So, here we go.
Yeah.
Wow. I might be envious. I'm a little shocked, just to get the worldly perspective that you probably have because you have traveled the world. I mean, you talk culture shock, you're probably almost immune to that. You just are out for the adventure.
I do love adventure. Yeah, believe it or not. So I'm in Montana right now, and I'm doing a keynote speech tonight. I've been speaking. I'm traveling now for like 2 or 3 weeks straight right now, and I'm doing like 6 or 7 different talks, and I haven't even had luggage in 9 days. So
oh, no.
I'm still trying to get my damn luggage. WestJet, if you're listening, get me my damn suitcase. But yeah, it's like I backpacked through Europe and you travel the world and then you just kind of learn to go with the flow. Like it's stressful, but at the same time, it's like there's nothing you can do. You just roll with it and figure it out, but
so
try to be laid back.
So are you the type that when you actually get home, do you have to unpack everything right away or do you just set the suitcase and let it sit there in the corner of the bedroom for a little bit?
It's usually a work in progress. Like I'll start to unpack and then I'll get distracted and then I'll unpack and then I'll get distracted. I have the attention span of a goldfish. So you're just swimming around this little bowl going, where am I? Where am I? What's going on? Where am I?
That is funny.
Have you traveled much?
I did a lot more traveling before we had kids, like the same perspective that you provided, but haven't made it very far. Had the privilege to spend a couple of days in Spain, in Madrid, on the way to Morocco. Spent a week and a half in Morocco. Been to Mexico a couple of times. I have not made it to all 50 states.
No.
How about you?
Panama, Dominican, Hawaii, Mexico. Some of the probably my biggest culture one was when we spent 2 weeks in Panama, study abroad at Iowa State.
Cool.
So
that's fun.
Yeah, that was pretty cool seeing the Panama Canal, and it's like 50 miles wide, right, at one point. And the diversity of ag in that it's smaller than a state. The diversity of ag there, from corn to pineapples to tobacco to fish, it is crazy.
Cool. Well, you're just adding something to my bucket list now.
It's a cool place.
Now I have to go to Panama. I've never been to Panama.
And beer was 35 cents.
Perfect.
There. Yep.
Well, that was the trip to Morocco. We had a group of 10 of us, and we stopped at a guy's rooftop cafe. And after walking through the Blue City, and we stopped and got the bill, and when I converted it, all 10 of us ate for $1.50.
Oh my God! Don't you just love it?
I told him I'd pick the tab up.
Yeah, I bet. That's the only time the banker would pick the tab up.
I went to Egypt and stayed at this beautiful 5-star resort right on the Red Sea, balcony, pool, oceanfront view, whatever. It was like $13 a night.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, okay. I could probably get used to this.
Right. Actually, when you talk about Panama, I've got a couple of clients that winter in Panama because of its reasonableness for cost of living. And that's interesting too, is as you do your traveling, not only does it provide you perspective for your conversations and the speeches that you give, it gives you, like you said, you have a bucket list of going places you've never been, but where do you go back to? Where do you frequent?
Like where do I live?
No, as in, if you were to go back, you've traveled to 67 different countries. Which ones are your favorites?
Where's my favorite? Probably Belize. I really like Belize because I'm just a big scuba diver. So anything like water, when you get me in the water, you can't get me out. So like Belize has the best snorkeling, diving. I mean, I was 145 feet down and could still see the surface, right? So that was pretty cool.
Wow.
So,
Whoa.
And I'm a big shark enthusiast too. And so, I have like this crazy shark obsession. And so whenever it's kind of fun that I'm on a podcast and we're talking about other things besides just farming.
Yeah.
Yes.
Most of the time it's like, so tell me about your farming background. I was like, no, let me tell you about my shark enthusiasm.
That's cool.
Like you're not supposed to get very close to those things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I love them. The first time I saw a shark, I grabbed it by the tail. I'm like wild. I love sharks. There's something about sharks that make me feel very relaxed. Like, I don't know if I was one in my previous life or what, but the closer I am to sharks, the more comfortable I feel. Like, I love sharks. I'm obsessed.
Whoa. You wouldn't grab a shark by its tail.
No, I've caught a shark before.
The number one thing on my bucket list is to cage dive with great whites in South Africa, which I'm actually going to do next year. And so it's funny, earlier we were talking about Commodity Classic. I'm going to be at Commodity Classic with a bunch of my South African farming friends there. And then I'm going to get on a plane with them back to South Africa. And we're going to do a whole tour of South African agriculture after the Commodity Classic. So we're all going to be on the same flight and be submerged. And I'm speaking in South Africa. So that'll be fun.
Maybe we should just get on that same flight.
We should go. We definitely need to talk to our South African friends at Commodity Classic.
Yeah, for sure.
There you go. I will introduce you.
I didn't even think about that. You travel all over the world. You probably have friends all over the world.
I do. Yeah. And that's what's so great about social media is it's so easy to keep in touch with people, So.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
How do you keep up with it all? Like, where do you decide to go next? Are people reaching out to you to travel or are you making your schedule?
A little bit of both. Like, I don't know. I think a lot of times I'm just inspired by other people's stories. Like you just told me about Panama, right? So now I'm like, holy crap, I never thought about that. Now I want to go to Panama. So a lot of times it's just word of mouth. And I like to golf too. Golfing is another passion of mine, or hobby interest. And so my friends in South Africa are taking me to the world's wildest golf course, which like they've sent me videos and pictures. You know how do you guys play golf at all?
Oh yeah.
Tanner plays every Thursday.
Okay, I love to golf. You can't golf right now in Illinois. Come on, or no, Iowa. Sorry,
yeah.
Iowa. I saw you in Illinois.
It's a chilly. You would definitely want to layer up.
Yeah.
Yes.
But you know how when you go golfing, you see like Canadian geese or maybe like a deer or like a blue heron or something. There, it's like lions and giraffes and hyenas and shit. I'm like,
whoa.
With giraffes and lions eating giraffes. Like, isn't that insane?
Lions eating giraffes.
The world is so cool. And I convince everybody, or I try to encourage everybody to get out and travel because it really changes you as a person. It changes your soul and your mind and just opens your mind and so many different ideas, So, travel. Everybody needs to travel.
So for golfing, Corey, what is the best feeling for you in golf?
Best feeling for me?
What's the best feeling?
I like being with my buddies and having a good time.
So it's not a long drive. It's not a...
No, I mean, I do like to hit a good shot.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty competitive by nature, and at one point in my life, I took it too seriously and I hated it.
Yeah.
Because I didn't spend the time to be good enough at it. So I took several years off, and then that was before I could drink. And now that I can drink and like to hang out with my friends,
right.
I just like being there.
Yeah. So what about you, Michelle? What's the favorite feeling in golf?
Well, I will tell you one of my favorite feelings I ever had playing golf. So I played at Tobacco Road in North Carolina. This was actually just about a month or so ago. And it was me and my friend who is an insanely good golfer. And they partnered us up with these two guys randomly to make us a foursome on this course. We didn't know these guys. Come to find out, they're like professional baseball players. And there was one hole that I outdrove all three of them.
That's a great feeling.
That's the best feeling in the world, when you are a female and you outdrive all three of the guys, especially when they're all insanely athletic, like literally like baseball players. And I was like, so that was probably like the best feeling ever. And because it's probably like the first and only time in my life I'll ever get to experience that. So every so often, it's like the guys always outplay me. And I usually golf with guys because I don't have a lot of female friends that golf. So most of my golfing buddies are men. And it's like they always beat me, right? Like I'm a decent golfer, but I'm not as good as my guy friends, right?
Sure.
But so when I outdrive the guys, that's like the best feeling. It's like I just want to do that every time, but I'd probably
echo that when I outdrive you or hit a better shot than you, and I know you play a lot of golf. It makes me feel happy.
See, I think since Dave's not here today, we need to start replacing Dave in our our foursomes with Michelle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Come on, let's go.
Yeah.
You guys got to go down to Florida.
I can tell you what, Dave brings nothing to a golf team. He brings nothing.
I would say
You got to drink too.
Yeah.
Yes. I would say my greatest feeling right now is when I get to play with my daughters and watch them get a hold of one. But other than that, lately I feel the best if I can get something chipped close to the hole.
Isn't that the goal?
I know, but it doesn't always happen.
You used to be happy with just hitting the green. Now
Correct.
You want it close to the hole.
Now I want something better.
Yeah.
How do you guys know each other, by the way? How long have you guys all been friends?
7 or 8 years.
Yeah. I met
Cool.
So Tanner's not from the area originally. I'm from this area. I'm from a couple towns down the road. And Tanner came down here through way of banking. And I met him at a farm auction, actually, and he tried to get my business for like 3 years.
I still don't have it.
You had it, and then you left.
I don't have it.
And you left. And I try to throw you bones all the time, and you won't give me breaks. So it is what it is. So it started out professionally. It still is professional.
It's just it's totally professional. Yeah.
He pays me a lot to be here. Is what it is.
That's awesome.
So Corey came. Sorry,
What?
Corey came on the podcast when he told us that we were boring.
Mm-hmm.
What?
So we were professionally associated before then, and he goes, "You guys have some good content here, but you're boring. We need to spice it up."
Yeah.
Because him and Dave were just doing podcasts on how to make your farm better. Learn this about taxes for year end. And it was nothing fun. There was no laughing, no jokes. Come on, we need some good stuff. There's no ag podcast.
We needed a Corey.
Yeah, you needed some help.
You needed a Corey.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'd be curious to know, and your statistics of how many people listen to your podcast compared to others in ag, because a lot of them are the same. And so how do you differentiate yourself? And I was like, holy crap, we're how many minutes into this thing and we're barely talking about ag. We're talking about golf and sharks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, that's cool, because there's not a lot of ag podcasts that talk about stuff outside of ag. And a lot of times people say, how do you connect with people outside of ag? I don't know, maybe stop talking about just ag. Don't get me wrong, I can talk about ag all day. I love it. It's my passion. Yeah. But, it's that's what I always tell people when it comes to advocating for ag and reaching outside of our bubble. Ag always talks to ag.
Yep.
So I'm like, hey, how about we connect on other things that we like golf, and we talk about that. And then the next thing you know, you have more people listening to it that are not necessarily farmers. You know what I mean?
Right. Farmers are human too.
Yes.
Yeah.
They have hobbies. They have
desires. We are
not. Right. And according to whatever her name was, the gal that put that one tweet out, that apparently we're lacking technological advances.
And Coulter. Yeah.
Yeah.
What an idiot.
Did you respond to that?
sake. If you're gonna have the last name Coulter, at least talk about farming. Come
She
on.
probably doesn't even know her last name is a piece of farm equipment.
Right? Exactly.
It's a very, very expensive part at a John Deere store.
It's something that Corey can't get a hold of. Yeah.
And Coulter is not the same Coulter that we know and break.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that it. We've had a couple other conversations. It's been fun. We've ran a couple of series on the podcast where we just had some bands on. We had like four shows in a row to where it was local bands or musicians that could come on and give our listeners a break. Because you're right, ag talks to ag, and there's nothing wrong with that unless you want it to be more. Right.
Exactly.
So when you're giving presentations, when you're out on the road, are you talking to ag groups or are you talking to the women's groups? What type of demographics are you hitting?
All sorts of stuff. I do get asked to speak at a lot of women in ag groups. I've done a lot with schools lately, middle school, high school, universities, FFA, 4-H. And I do get invited to speak at a lot of ag events. I think a vast majority of what I get asked to speak to are ag. But when I do get invited to speak at non-farm audiences, oh my gosh, is that so fun. It's just breakthroughs because it's like the Q&A. It's like every hand goes up. So I've spoken at like some health and wellness seminars, blogging seminars, social media stuff. And just being on a panel, we did a panel like myth busting in the grocery aisle. And I just like went through all these food labels and just like debunked them or like talk about what they actually mean. Like there's all meat is antibiotic free. There's no such thing as added hormones in chicken. Organic sometimes can use pesticides, like, debunking factory farms, GMOs, like all of these different things that people, and then it's like the Q&A and it's like, oh my God, like it's really fun because people really want to know, but they never get a chance to actually talk to farmers. And it's like, that's probably one of my biggest goals, I guess, as the farm babe is like to be big enough to the point where like I can be that go-to for like the Today Show or Good Morning America or something like that. Because as of right now, there's really nobody in that space that's giving farmers a legitimate voice. The people right now that talk about farming are from urban areas or, they're like New York City nutritionists and like, you have to eat gluten-free and vegan. And we're sitting here as farmers going like, you know what I mean? So it's just a matter of like trying to be that voice that can get more outside of ag,
Are you currently like partnered or syndicated with any of these morning shows or news outlets?
I am not. I wish.
Because what was her name that we interviewed?
Stephanie Nash.
Stephanie Nash. She's more political, but she is kind of trying to do.
Was it Fox?
Similar. Yes, it was Fox. She's like, she actually has her own show on there now.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was called, but crazy.
Yeah, you never know where life may lead. I just take it one day at a time. I've been doing this 8 years now, and it just keeps growing every year. So you never know where it'll lead,
So what did you do before this?
Oh, I was a bartender. I worked in fashion and I loved it. But there was no money in it. So then I got into sales and I made a lot of money, but I was really stressed out. So then I was a bartender and then I met a farmer. And so I moved to the farm in Iowa for him. And that's where this all started, was kind of like the city girl turned farmer. And so I was in Iowa and then I'd moved there for him from Florida. I was living in Pensacola Beach, bartending. I moved there for him. And then I didn't have a job when I lived in Iowa. So I got a job at a casino dealing cards.
Oh.
So I was like this, I've done a little bit of everything. It's the other thing I like poker and blackjack. And so I was dealing poker and I started the Farm Babe as a side hustle and I've been doing it now full time for about 6 years. So I really feel like I found my calling in life. It's really funny because it's like going back to high school when my teachers were like, you should work in ag, you should work with animals. I was like, yeah, that's cool. And they were right. And it's like, now I just feel like I've come full circle to everything I was supposed to be doing the whole time, which is bringing me back to my roots. And what I always loved as a kid was working with animals and learning about farming. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you
I've done a bit of everything,
So you dealt cards, but do you play poker? Do you enjoy playing?
I do. Yeah. I love to play poker.
Wow.
I haven't for a while. I'd love to again.
She's got all the hobbies.
What's your signature drink? If we were sitting right here, what drink would you make us?
Well, that's a loaded question, I guess. I mean, it all just depends on what you like. I mean, I'm a Bacardi girl. I drink Bacardi and diet, but I don't know. It just depends what you like. I don't try to.
You weren't one of those fancy bartenders that were flipping the bottles all around and.
The bar I worked at was really busy. We didn't have time to be like the showy type. It's like, what are you having to drink? Martinis. We don't have that. What's next?
There we go.
Like, we didn't even have glassware. Like, it was like this busy beach bar, smoky, divey, like high volume. Just let's go. I don't have time to make you a fufu.
Yeah.
You want a rum and Coke or do you want a beer? Like, let's go.
Yep. And that was up in Northeast Iowa that you were a bartender?
No, well, this was in Florida when I was like bartending like a lot.
Ah, gotcha.
And then I bartended in Iowa too, but small town stuff. But it's still very similar. But
Busch Light, $1.50.
You're not gonna find somebody in Luena, Iowa, saying, "Yeah, can I have a dirty martini?" You know what I mean? It's just gonna be, "Can I have a Busch Light?"
Yeah.
Yeah. You spend your night cracking cans or opening bottles.
And pull tabs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You just keep the bottle open at all times, and it's just easy to pop the lid off a beer.
Yeah.
Now I have a beer. Dang it, you guys. I might have to go have a beer.
The days of like $1.50, $2 like cans of Busch Light are almost over. It's hard to find them in Iowa anymore because like it's the city $4 or $5 beer has just worked its way out because they can charge it.
I was gonna say you go to the hockey dollar beer night and it's only a small serving. It's not even half. You feel like you put half a can of beer in there, and you get good to go. We're gonna mix something up here while we keep having a conversation. We like to try things that our listeners tell us to try as we go. So as Corey is pulling out the Twisted Tea into Busch Light, he will get that ready for us. One of our listeners said we had to try that.
Together?
Yes.
I have never heard of it, and I'm excited. That actually sounds really good.
We've tried all kinds of things, from chocolate milk with a Busch Light to
cranberry Busch Light,
cranberries,
Mountain
orange
Dew,
juice,
Busch Light,
Monster. Our listeners have sent us all kinds of things to try, and some are really good, and others are not. Like we tried ground up atomic fireballs.
Oh yeah,
mixed with boiled or simmered into vodka.
Okay.
Mixed with the Busch Light, and I swear that's what Busch Light should put out next. That should be the holiday edition. Absolutely.
So, or just get like a shot of Fireball and pour it in your beer. I bet you that might actually be kind of good. People come up with all sorts of crazy shit.
He did.
I will say, back when I lived on Pensacola Beach when I was bartending, I was a runner-up for best bartender on the Gulf Coast. So I did do a bartending competition.
Ooh. Oh.
That I made. And this was years ago. This is probably 12 years ago now. I'm dating myself, but it was called the Big Hula, and I actually toasted coconut flakes, and so I had the rim with was like honey and toasted coconut, and there was like blue curacao and dragonberry rum and cream de cocoa and grenadine, and it was like amazing. It was so creamy, delicious. Like, oh my god!
Wow.
I haven't, so I need to make it again sometime. But it's such a beach drink, It was a beach bar bartending contest, so I had to do something kind of fruity,
Right. Absolutely.
It always tastes better on the beach.
It does.
All right.
Okay, so how do you put the tea in Busch Light?
Let's try it. So let me start this here. So we like to mix stuff on the Farm for Fun shows. Some listener suggested Twisted Tea with Busch Light, like a little bit of Twisted Tea or a lot, or like 50-50.
I assume we got to do the same match that we've been doing.
All right. We'll do 50-50, so we'll get that in first. Why wouldn't it be packed? It's $9 beer night.
Right.
You're so bougie.
There we go.
That's funny.
All
So
right.
it still looks like Twisted Tea.
It does still look like Twisted Tea.
It didn't change it a lot.
It
I'm
smells
so
like an
thin-
Arnold Palmer almost, like a sweet and...
You're gonna have to ask the bartender. Oh, it's a watered down Twisted Tea.
It's actually really refreshing. I don't mind
It's refreshing. I think it looks delicious, and now I'm like FOMO.
You're gonna have to go down to the bartender in the hotel lobby and ask them if they've got Twisted Tea, and they'll have to make you one, and then you'll have to let them try it too.
I'm absolutely going to. I'm giving a keynote speech in about 2 hours. So the question is, do I drink before, during, or after my talk?
Well, do you get nervous?
No, not at all.
Yeah, that's
7.9 out of 10, I would say.
Yeah, pretty good.
I think we drink during to provide an atmosphere for the show.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
It certainly makes it more fun.
I take it down to, you were at the John Deere beer tent at Farm Progress.
Correct.
We met you there.
Yeah.
The atmosphere. Yeah, the atmosphere there was electric. I mean,
it was fun.
And there is nothing more than just felt good, right? Like, I think they hit it on the nose, just that atmosphere.
A really good idea. Yeah.
You didn't have to be drinking.
A lot of great people. There's a lot of great people in that booth. Lots of, you can't go wrong with beer and good people, especially coming off the pandemic. It was lovely.
Yep.
Yeah, I hope they keep that up.
Yep.
I think that'd be
Me
fun.
too.
Fun to do National Farm Machinery Show. Fun to do Commodity Classic.
Yeah, everything needs just to have free beer. Everything.
Yes.
They were charging for beer, and they were getting that atmosphere.
Donating it to Farm Rescue.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
that's right.
But you're right. Free beer goes a long ways too.
Free beer goes a long way, but also charity beer is a very nice thing to do as well.
Yes.
But, you're just much more likely to make purchases and decisions when you're drinking too. Like one time I have a fashion background and I worked for Saks Fifth Avenue. And when I was there, they were doing a Chanel makeup artistry event and they gave you free martinis while you were getting your makeup done.
Oh. Genius.
I'll be damned if by the end of my makeup tutorial, I didn't buy every damn thing they put on my face. It was like $400 and stupid odd dollars later that I was like, everybody needs to do this.
we need to give our listeners free beer at these trade shows.
There you go.
And then have a pile of over expensive T-shirts.
Over expensive. like at a concert, like they're the groupies.
Oh my gosh.
That is how concerts work, isn't it?
It is. $45 for a T-shirt when you're walking in, and then when you're walking out, oh, that was awesome. I'm gonna give whatever. Here's my card.
True. It's so true.
Yeah.
Yes, the easier it is to make a stupid purchase.
Yeah.
They
are awesome T-shirts, though. I mean, you can't get them anywhere else.
You're just a purchase.
Yeah.
I want to go back to a part of your. But you were going to jump into something. But I want to go back to a part. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. This just real quick. And on that note, I don't know if you guys know this, but they started putting sports bars in like women's shopping centers, like in Nordstrom in Chicago.
Oh yeah.
They have a sports bar where the husbands can hang out, or guys in general can hang out. I mean, what a genius idea. Yes. Your girlfriend comes back, you're watching the game, you're feeling good, you just give her your credit card, so you're watching the game having fun. She's having fun because she's spending your money. Does it get any better than that?
That's a happy couple.
Hy-Vee has done that.
That's a good idea. Like every mall, and I used to be a personal shopper coming from the fashion industry, and these couples would come in all the time, and the women would be trying stuff on, and the guy would just be sitting there, and I'm like, hey, can I get you a water? And the guy was just miserable. No, he doesn't want water. He wants a football game and a damn cold beer. That's how you get shopping done.
You're right. The grocery store.
Yeah, Hy-Vee's done that in their new stores. I have actually sat in there and watched football game, like you said, while my wife grocery shopped. We went there, ate lunch.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Happy wife, happy life.
Yeah.
Yes. So. All right. I want to go back to why you left Corey's favorite place in Iowa. Isn't Decorah, that area, one of your favorite places?
Yeah. Yep. I like to go trout fishing there. I think it's one of the most beautiful places in Iowa.
It is really nice. I loved it up there. It was beautiful. So I was farming about 40 minutes southeast of there in Monona. And then, I was doing farmers markets from Guttenberg up to Decorah. And Decorah is great with all the breweries and stuff. But I was up there dating a farmer, and then we broke up about 3 years ago. And, I was in this town of 1,000 people, and I was like, there's really nobody here to date, I don't think. I was like, maybe I should move back to Florida where the weather's a little nicer.
Right.
And so that's what I did. That's the only reason I left was I bought a place now. I live on 17 acres just outside of Gainesville, Florida. I got a really good deal. I live right by some good friends. And it's just been a interesting change to go to Florida. So instead of corn and beans and cattle and sheep, which was the farm I was on in Iowa, now I'm surrounded by, eggplants and citrus and peppers and berries and, and it's cool. But I live right by FFA and the FFA headquarters and the University of Florida is there and Farm Bureau and everything. And so they've really welcomed me with open arms, doing a lot of events with university and stuff like that, just to be submerged in fresh produce in Florida. So yeah, that's really, it's for me, a lot of it was just the weather, just, I would have stayed, but he never put a ring on my hand. So what are you going to do?
That's
kind of
right.
start over. It happens.
Well, I feel like an idiot now because I said Mrs. in my intro, and
I noticed
I had to just shoot my shot because I didn't know. You look like someone that was married, so I
know I've never been married. Yeah,
I'm sorry for that. So
well, if you know of anybody, let me know. But I've come to the conclusion there's about 5 good-looking single guys in all of agriculture, and 2 of them are my exes. So.
I think there's a lot. I think a lot have just quit looking.
They're all married. Seriously, it's funny. Even as somebody now that's like trying to date in agriculture or even outside of ag, a lot of whoever I date, it's like, it's like they have to be pretty secure, right? Because I do travel a lot and I'm surrounded by men at different conferences and conventions, and I'm very loyal. And I'm a good girlfriend or whatever, but it's like, oh, you're with all these guys. Like, aren't you just, I'm like, dude, it's a sea of wedding rings. Like, settle down. Yeah. Like, nobody's single. It's agriculture. Everybody gets married when they're 20. They have like 100 kids, and that's farming. So,
the Farm for Profit podcast has played matchmaker to probably like 5 or 6. I don't know if they're married, but
not yet. Almost.
Definitely couples.
Yep.
So,
really?
yeah, you might get someone reaching out.
Well, there you go. You can just put it out there.
So how does a woman, if you're out there searching, like you said, what's the go-to? Is it Tinder these days? What is it?
For me, I just let it happen organically. Like, I have Bumble, but I travel a lot. And so it's more so just like I meet people at conferences or at hotel bars or, whatever. And whatever happens. Or just like, through, I don't know, I guess, how do I meet people? I think that's just about it. Like, just
like how it used to happen.
Huh?
Like how it used to happen, just like organically, or
And I don't know, I tried to do the online dating thing and it's fine and I'm not going to knock it, but like for me personally, I just don't like the pressure that comes with it when you're like, okay, we met on a dating app, now let's sit down and talk and see if this is the right thing. Yeah. Whereas when it just happens naturally, it's just like, right. You happen to sit down at a bar next to a guy and like he happens to be cool and wow, he happens to be single. Like, and then it's just more like comfortable and natural, where it's not like forced or weird, Yeah.
So it seems like every girl that we get on the show always talks about or has these crazy DMs from creepo guys. I imagine it's the same with you.
Actually, I don't really get a ton, to be honest. I do, but I just ignore them, I guess. I don't know. The ones that slide in my DMs are never really like good looking.
That's the creepo part. Yeah.
They're always asking for feet pics or something weird like that.
Yeah, I think that's maybe happened to me once or twice, like over, many years. Like I don't know. Maybe I just don't attract a ton of creepers. I don't know. I think everybody does, but maybe I just ignore it or overlook it. I don't know.
I'm going to eat my words. Instead of her finding a boyfriend, she's going to find a bunch of creepos probably from our podcast.
Yeah.
You're not giving our listener base.
We have a lot of
Much
listeners.
Credit.
Law of averages is there's some creepos.
There's always going to be some creepers. Absolutely. It's just it's all a numbers game, right? So, but I'll let you know though if I get a bunch of creepers that listen to your podcast.
That'll be the response back. Usually our advertisers are saying, "Hey, this is great. Just got this application. Just sold this, whatever it was." And we're gonna get Michelle to send it saying, "Oh, just got my 6th creeper." Yeah.
Just please screenshot them so we can put them on blast.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. Yeah, you never know, right? I just take things one day at a time, and whatever God's plan is, it'll happen. So
if you do find somebody,
what?
If you do find somebody that wants to hang around and you got to bring them back to your acreage in Florida, What do you have on your acreage? Do you're gone so much? Do you have livestock or what do you got roaming around those 17 acres?
That's the catch, right? I got nothing. And I really want to. That was my plan. I closed on the land right before the pandemic. And then when the pandemic hit, I mean, obviously I had to stay home, and I just bought this land, and I was like, so I bought the land, and it's ready. It's prepped for livestock. It's ready. It's actually a timber farm. Which is cool because I am so busy, and I'm not not home enough to even keep a house plant alive. Right. And so it's like, I built it ready for that. And it would be really cool to find a partner that would want to farm with me. But at the moment, just being me and like traveling all the time. And part of my travel too is because I am single. So I'm like, well, I'm going to go to this conference. Maybe I'll just go early or stay late and visit some friends and goof off for a couple days, So yeah, at the moment, timber is nice because I only have to harvest it every 30 years.
Right. She's got good perspective.
So now I'm learning about forestry. Learning about forestry is cool, but if I could run some livestock out there or do something else cool with it, I would love that. It's just with it being just me, I can't. So I want to be a farmer again, but it's at the moment I'm busy just advocating for farmers that I can't really be one myself anymore. Although I miss it. I sure miss it. I used to spend a lot of times with the sheep and the cattle in Iowa, and man, did I love it. And I did farmers markets. I sold meat direct, and I really love having conversations with consumers and selling direct and just having that connection, farmer to consumer connection. I love, but yeah, we'll see.
So must be cute and willing to stay at home and take care of livestock.
Sign me up.
Cute, yes.
Yeah.
But, the other thing, though, too, is like with the travel, it's like, wouldn't it be fun to find somebody that would like just travel with me, that would just like, like get an RV and just like cruise around. And I don't know. I'm such a free spirit sometimes.
Yeah, I could see that. I even look at it with the dog. We have 2 dogs. And even just traveling for a weekend to find somebody to watch your dogs, let alone find someone to go do chores. And when my parents want to come down and see their grandkids because they've got a hog farm, you got to find someone to take care of the livestock.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it is. It's a big step, a big commitment. But it's fun that you get to travel around, and like you said, you're meeting all kinds of people. You're extending the word of agriculture. You're continuing to continue to pass that message along. But we always try to get some more questions. It's fun that we've not talked about ag a lot on this show.
Yeah.
And we always like to ask some non-ag questions. So I want to know what one of or a couple of your biggest pet peeves are.
Ooh,
what drives you nuts?
I think people that chew with their mouth open or that like crunch too loud is definitely my number one. Actually, that just happened today. I was having lunch. I'm in my hotel right now, and I was having lunch at like the hotel bar restaurant. And this guy next to me was eating tortilla chips so freaking loud that I had to put in my noise-canceling headphones, my AirPods, noise-canceling, and blast my music. And I could still hear him chewing through the sounds of canceling. Yeah.
That's bad.
My wife is super sensitive to noises like that. So even if the dog is licking her paws or my daughters are smacking their lips, she's one of those that it's like, stop.
Yeah.
Your wife is my spirit animal. Absolutely. And yeah, like the other thing too, when there's like a rattle in the car when you're driving down the street and there's like,
that's one of mine.
Yeah. Can we please throw away that tin can so it stops rattling next to your drill bit?
You're touching correct. You're touching everything. Like my garage door opener sometimes rattles.
Why is that rattling? So yeah.
That's another good one. What about you, Corey?
I mean, those really annoy me. I hate, I'm the same way. Daughters, shut your mouth. Just a dog drinking. It's like, quit doing something basic in life. But
you turn the music up and turn the TV up. That's what happens in our house. If there's something you don't want to hear, make something else louder.
Probably one that's like a recent thing. Like I have seen people using, I bet you didn't have this on your bingo card this year. Like, okay, like it's come and gone. Like let's find something other game. Like I bet you didn't have that on Scrabble or something. I don't freaking know, but like
I like that.
It's annoying.
100 answers on the board.
Yeah, can we be like more original? Can we come up with stuff ourselves instead of copying everyone?
We'll find out on Family Feud.
Yeah.
100 answers on the board.
Yeah.
actually one of my favorite Family Feud episodes recently. They talk about what's the first thing you do when you go to a hotel. And like people are like, oh, you turn on the TV or like you look out the window or like all these answers. And my friends and I were like, dude, you poop.
You poop.
Oh, now wait. So if you're traveling with people, do you do it in the hotel room or do you go down to the lobby?
It's very rare that I travel with anybody. So I wouldn't know. I guess I would just poop.
So you just blow up the bathroom when you get there. I was going to say, like, look for bed bugs or something like that.
No. Maybe should you edit that out?
No.
Everybody poops.
There's a book about it.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure when we get to a hotel room, the first thing that happens is I lug whatever suitcase it is up onto the bed, and my wife goes and she takes the curtains and she just opens.
Yeah.
Let some natural light in.
Top 5 on Family Feud. Poop did not make the top 5, but opening the curtains absolutely did.
What about going to the air conditioner and punching it as low as it can go?
Yeah.
Last night, I had the AC turned down to 60, and I was still hot. Like, it's not working. I have it off right now. I'm like, it's right here. It's, like, comfortable right now, but my AC and heating unit in this place freaking sucks.
And there's snow on the ground, but God forbid, they won't let you open the window.
You want to see? Here we go.
That's funny.
But I have my pretty background instead
Yes.
of my hotel room, like, bland background with those stupid lamps and stuff.
Oh, I totally get it. Well, my pet peeve, before we wrap up, is people that drive 5 mile an hour under the speed limit.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I had one of those today. Listeners, we try to timestamp this, so this is voting day,
So the 8th.
November 8th. I was on my way to vote, both going to voting and leaving voting. I couldn't get there fast enough. Like, get out of my way.
Here's a pet peeve. How much do those frickin' I voted stickers cost? Every person in America gets one of those.
That's right. Can we put that towards the deficit?
Yeah.
I have one I wear in summertime that says I voted when I go boating.
That's awesome.
South Park. You guys watch South Park at all?
Yeah.
Yes. It's been a while.
Really good episode where Stan goes out to vote and it's like, let's get out and vote.
I haven't
You
seen
know
that one.
his song? We've been given the right to choose between a douche and a turd.
Oh, I love that.
Sometime, if we ever have a few drinks and there's karaoke bar, I do Cartman karaoke. So I only do it if I've had enough to drink. And if karaoke, I can sing like Eric Cartman. There is my hidden talent.
I need to see this.
That is our goal. We are going to meet South Americans or South Africans?
South Africa.
South Africa.
South Africans and hear Cartman karaoke at Commodity Classic.
I think if I had enough, I could get in on that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's fun. Who doesn't love a good drunken karaoke sesh?
Especially
Yes.
South Park Cartman.
That is great.
Mr. Garrison.
Well, that was really good. I like that. Well, Michelle.
How about you suck, Matt?
I would have to edit that out. Careful. That's funny. No, this has been a pleasure. We appreciate you jumping on such short notice and having a killer time.
Sounds good.
And I think we saved enough to be able to do this again when we get to see each other in person.
Yeah, part 2.
I agree. I dig it. Let's do it.
So if people want to find you, what is the best way for them to look up the Farm Babe?
My website's thefarmbabe.com, but I am at the Farm Babe is my handle on everything except Facebook. You just search Farm Babe. Farm Babe, Facebook, at the Farm Babe on everything else. Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube. Find me on the YouTubes, all of the things.
Nice. TikTok too?
She
What
said
was
TikTok.
that?
Oh, good.
She said TikTok.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't do a ton on TikTok. I'm more of an article writing, posting girl than I am a video girl, but I am doing a little bit more. Actually, right now, I'm doing hashtag 100 farmers, 100 breakdowns, or I'm asking farmers about their equipment breakdowns, equipment failures. Like, I'll ask guys, red, green, or other.
Green.
All.
Okay. How often does it break down?
Anything that's got a motor and rubber tires will break down. So,
Jeez.
I don't know. It's a lot.
Yeah. What about what wrench are you missing out of your toolbox the most often?
Oh, easily the 9/16, 10 millimeter socket.
I don't think I buy 1/2 inch or 9/16 anymore. I just use my mini crescent wrench.
Yep.
Yeah, that was Shark Farmer's favorite wrench to harvest was the crescent.
Yes.
Because you just lose them all. And 9/16, yep, it's pretty common too. So I started that as a way to better help farmers realize that they're not alone when it comes to feeling like it's broke down again.
Yeah.
It's funny.
The crescent wrench is versatile. It's an adjustable hammer.
Whether you're talking to a farmer that's running equipment that's 50 years old or 5 days old, the shit still breaks down all the time.
Yep.
It's just crazy. It's just like it's an epidemic with farm equipment.
Oh.
So TikTok, I have hashtag 100 farmers, 100 breakdowns where you can watch all these videos. I just did one with Quick Dick McDick up in Saskatoon a few days ago. That was pretty fun.
That's cool.
We'd like to get him on the podcast sometime. That'd be cool.
Dude, he's funny. I heard him speak, and he's got some funny. I love that guy.
Yeah.
That is one. We might have to connect with you to help get us a connection there because he would be a fun one to get on. Another great guest. Share some more perspective.
Yeah, it's fun just traveling as often as I do, just getting to meet. It's like with social media stuff, it's like you are online friends, right? And then you meet in person and it's like you're just like instant friends, It's kind of fun once you meet in person and then you're like, hey, like we go way back.
Right, you do. We noticed that with our listeners and stuff. You skip the little stuff. You actually have things to talk about. Whether they follow you, you follow them, or it's both at the same time. You can go straight into a conversation of value.
Exactly, because you already know the person. You feel like you've known them forever, even though they're just internet. But then they become real in-person friends, and it's delightful.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, good. This has been a pleasure, Michelle. We appreciate you jumping on. Go check out Farm Babe, all of the platforms. And while you're out on YouTube looking her up, look up Farm for Profit because you can watch what clips we put out there now. Corey's been working really hard to get that built up. We need some more subscribers, Michelle. So we got to drive them over there to hit subscribe. But yes, thank you. This has been awesome. Corey, what do you say? Send us out.
Say crack a bush light. You deserve it.